Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. It's Tom. It's also election day, and if you have not already voted by early or through early voting or absentee voting, I encourage you to get out today and make your voice heard. The way that our republic works best, of course, is if we each individually go and elect representatives who will reflect our principles and our beliefs and will implement good policy that reflects those principles and beliefs. So I understand lines may be long. Remember that if you're a DFACS employee, you have a couple hours off to go vote. I would encourage you to do so perhaps earlier in the day because of the expected long lines. I understand that during the early voting they were very long. Haven't seen the news reports this morning, but I do think that you need to get out there and vote early as possible. And please take the time to go do that and make your voice heard. Today, I want to really compliment and brag on our Office of Family Independence. This is our agents. This is a part of our agency that makes sure that folks who need Medicaid and TANF and food stamps, and now, of course, these new programs, the Pandemic SNAP, which is a supplement for families during the COVID virus shutdown. And then also we have a new program that's just been approved by the federal government. It's called PEBT, and it will provide reimbursement to those families whose children should have been receiving a free and reduced lunch at school, but did not, of course, because schools were shut down between, I believe, March 16th and about middle of May when school closes. So we are working on that right now. We've got it really in process. It's all going to be ready to go and go out in July. And I did some quick sort of calculations on the back of a napkin. And it looks like that between PSNAP, between SNAP, PSNAP, and PEBT, our employees will have issued about $1.6 billion in benefits to Georgia's more vulnerable families, more economically challenged families between March and July. That's a lot of money, and it's certainly needed by these families, and it also, I think, is a great boon to the economy right when we need a boost to our economy. So just want to thank all my folks for doing that. If you look at sort of the numbers, if you look at our timeliness, timeliness is very important to us. Right now in SNAP, we're at 98%, which we haven't seen in a very long time. This past week, we did timeliness at 98%. Now, of course, as we get back into perhaps as the federal government has starts to impose more of the restrictions and regulations on us in terms of what we can and can't do, they've of course given us a lot of waivers that have allowed some of our employees to get things done more quickly. And as we get back to the point where we have to follow more regulations, we're going to probably have a harder time meeting those timeliness goals. But I know that we can continue to do it because if we have done so well during this time period, as we have used technology and really used teleworking, I have a strong feeling that we can keep up this extremely good work. And so I appreciate all of y'all in OFI. Let's see, I want to talk a little bit about child welfare, and also, well, really the whole agency, not just child welfare. I know a lot of folks are going to want to keep teleworking after July 1st, but at the same time, we are planning to open up some so that folks who really want to go back into the office beginning July 1st will have the ability to do so. Just please remember that if you can keep teleworking, please do. I think it's working well. I think if you're like me, you find it actually gives you a little more time in your day. But then again, I know many of you really like working in an office, like that routine. I want to get back to it. Couple of preparations. We're implementing some enhanced cleaning measures to make sure that our offices are safe for you. We're distributing some PPE, especially masks, and I can tell you that one of the things we're really going to have to really insist on is that when folks are in the office that they wear a mask, and we'll get you more details about that as we go forward, and probably get you out a memo on that. And of course, we're really want to really encourage social distancing even at work. One of the things we know is that we are social animals, that this whole idea of social distancing is somewhat of an oxymoron. We are social. We don't distance naturally. But to make sure that we all stay safe, we're going to have to continue to do that in our offices and just be mindful of that. Of course, if you have any questions about that, please continue to send them to DFACS COVID questions at dhs.gov. Now, specifically on child welfare, June is Reunification Month, as many of you know. A lot of the work we do is reunifying families. That's if you look at when we either perhaps have a child who's out of the home via a voluntary placement with a family member, or is actually in foster care, the vast majority of the time, these children are going to be reunited with their parent. That's the way it should be. One of our main jobs, of course, is to fix family dysfunction so that parents can safely care for their own children, because we know that when you have a child who is attached to his or her parent, that separating that child and that parent is very traumatic. And I've been really pleased to see in the last couple of years how so many folks have done great work in that field. Our foster parents, for one, they serve as mentors to biological parents. Organizations that support foster parents have also supported biological parents. We have, of course, our court system, our CASAs, our attorneys, our judges have been encouraging and have celebrated when families reunify. You think about it, if you're a juvenile court judge or a case manager or a foster parent, if we can actually restore a family to wholeness, to safety, to togetherness, then that should be a great time to celebrate, and that's what we're going to try to do in the month of June. I want to give a couple of shout outs to some of our reunification heroes who are being highlighted on our social media this month. We got Vivian Carter in DeKalb County, Maya Wright, who covers Ben Hill and Irwin counties, Brianna Miller in Fulton County, Valerie Waters in Floyd County, Christina Fletcher in Bartow County, Nathaniel Long in Paulding County, Tijuana Tyus in Haralson County, and Sarah Swan in Dawson County. And so look out for the stories that on our social media of the great work that they have done, and be mindful of the great work that so many others are doing, not just in our agency, but in our courts, in our mental health system, among our providers, among our foster parents. There are so many folks who are doing incredibly good work to restore families to wholeness. And whenever we can restore a family, that should be a cause for celebration and a cause for triumph. So that's all I've got for today. As I said, make your voice heard in every way possible, and try to do everything you can to spread good work and service across the state, because the vulnerable families and children of Georgia need you. So thanks. We'll see you next Tuesday.